Hey there, it's Nathalie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I wanted to show you how I made this little watercolor book. I am teaching a Urban Sketchers class at our college on the square, and so some of them have purchased regular like Moleskine journals, and I thought, well, let me put one together. And so this has a little fabric spine. The cover is 140-pound watercolor paper. Now the inside is actually 98-pound mixed media paper, so for watercolor or sketching, ink, acrylic. I just used several sheets of mixed media paper and put this little book together. And so I'm going to show you how to do this, and you can make your own little watercolor journal or art journal. Be sure, if you like this video, give me a little thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have some freebies over on my blog at myhallcloset.com, so hop over there, sign up, and get some free downloads for some artsy kind of stuff. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to do this. To put together this little book, I have 5 signatures, and there's 3 pages each, and I have cut them 3.5 wide. This is for a little watercolor journal, 3.5 wide, and then it was 11 inches long. I took one of the scraps of paper that I had, and I folded it in half long ways, then I folded it in half crossways, and then one more time tuck the ends in so that it was even. I could measure it. I could use one of my little vintage rulers, but I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this. I've got a T-pen. If you have a nice sharp awl, I've got ice picks, but they're too big. And I've got a piece of foam core to support this so I don't pierce my cutting table. And I'll line that up in the middle like that, and then I've got my marks right there, and I'm going to pierce through. I felt it go through, and so I'm going to do this with all 5 of the signatures. You could put the holes together, closer together, if you want to, but I don't see that there's any need to do that. I'm just making sure that I'm all lined up and that my fold is good and that I'm lined up on my corners, my edges. I think I'm ready to get started. I have all of the holes poked into my signatures. I've got 5 signatures, 3 pages apiece, and I've got some button thread from Walmart and a regular sewing needle, and I have a knot tied in the end of my thread. And I open out my first signature and go into this first hole, and my knot is going to stay to the outside. Then I'm going to come to the inside and pull through, and then we want this to be firm but not too tight to rip. Back to the outside and pushing through to the inside, and then repeat. So coming back on, I'm on the inside, I'm going to go back to that middle hole, and it would be the next hole. If you have more than 3 holes in your signature, then you'll just continue on, you know, in and out, in and out. And then I'm going to go to the, again, let me make sure that I'm secure here, firm here, tight. There we go. And I'm going to go into this hole, the first hole that I started at, flip to the inside and make a little knot, if I can hold on to my needle. Slide underneath that thread, make a little, there's that little loop, we'll make a little knot. And I want this firm, so I'm going to give it a little pull, and I'm going to keep that needle in there until it does it. And then we're going to pull this knot to the back side. I've got my thread that I started with, and then my knot is pulled to the back side of this. So now I'm ready for my second signature. Line this up, and I'm going to open this just a little bit so I can make sure that I go into the exact right spot in here. So I'm going to go from the back side to the middle, pull through, find that middle spot. Okay, and from here, what I'm going to do, make sure this is nice and firm, and I want to go under, get a hold of it, under this stitch right there on the one side, and then go, it's kind of looping around this little stitch right here. Find me a spot, there we go, and go under it and come back up and right back into the same hole. And so it makes a little loop right here around these two stitches right here. Then I'm on the inside, come back up, loop under this side, and add the next signature. So again, I'm going to open this up. So I'm looped under this stitch in the first signature, right here. Come back here, there. And now I'm going to go into this, the holes in this signature, the third signature. If I can find them, line them up. There we go. So it's pulling up from the second signature into that hole. I've got the hold of that firmly. Go into the middle one. And then I'm just going to loop through. There's not two threads going across here now. So I'm just going to loop underneath. Don't stitch into the paper. There we go. And then I want to keep this firm again. So I've looped underneath that little stitch right there, and I'm going to go right back into that same hole. This is what it looks like on the inside. Stitch back up and repeat that. So I'm going to stitch underneath this stitch right here. Make sure I don't catch this. Pull that up nice and firm. And then I'm ready for the next one. So I'm going to repeat this with the two more signatures. I'm on my last signature. And I don't know if I said this, that I got this from Jennifer at Sea Lemon, but I'll put the link in the description below. And so as I finish it, I think it's called a kettle stitch or a coptic stitch. So this is the last one. I come in underneath this last stitch right here. Make sure I don't sew into the paper. Keeping that nice and firm. Back into that center hole, and then we're fixing to tie this thing off. So I'm going to come up in the last hole in the last signature, and again, I am not a bookbinder, I am an artist, and I'm just making these. We're doing an urban sketching class, and so we're using these smaller travel size. They're not like a traveler's notebook, just kind of a little travel art journal. And I just need to make this last knot because I'm on the inside. I'm going to pull that firm and knot it, and then pull this to the outside. Trim this off. I felt the knot pop, and now I'm ready to put a cover on it. I've got a little piece of muslin, and it's a little bit shorter than what the spine of my book is. I'm going to use Fabric Fusion. Some of the other bookmakers that I have seen use this. I'm going to put some down the middle, a little bit on the edges. It already has a little bit smeared on there. I'll make sure that my journal pages are lined up side to side and flat at the bottom. Make sure that that's flat like that, and then stick that into the middle. Make sure I don't have fabric hanging off of the ends or over the edges. Lap this around. I have got glue all over my fingers. And then I'm going to, after this is dry, I will glue a cover onto this. All right, and I'm evened up. Let me see, get in there. My edges are even and the back is even. So I'm going to use these little clips. Not sure where I got these, but I really like them. I don't know if they were chip clips or what, but so they'll put an even pressure on here without like digging in like the binder clips do. And they're plastic and they'll come loose from that when the glue is dry. So we're going to let that, set it to the side, let it dry. And my little book is dry and does pretty good with that. Just like that. I like that. I could probably leave it like it is, but sometimes it's hard not to leave things well enough alone. So I'm going to put a cover on here, and I've got aluminum foil just to kind of protect the pages for whenever I glue this other sheet on here. So these are all like 90-pound paper. I've got some watercolor paper that I cut just a mite larger, not much larger than the actual pages itself. I'm going to go ahead and use this Fabric Fusion for this. And I'll do a front and a back cover. And so just in case any of that glue kind of oozes out, this will make a stronger cover for it. This is 140 pound, in case I didn't say that. I don't know if I just said that or not. And let's kind of move this out to the edge. Smooth this around a little bit. Now this watercolor paper has a smooth and a rough side, and I'm going to put the rough side in case I want to paint something on the outside of it, if I don't get glue on the outside of it. Line that up. Get the glue off my hands. All right, I'm going to line this up just a little bit more evenly here. Push that down. And then I've got a piece of fabric that I'm going to use kind of as a little spiny thing to keep that flexible. This over and repeat this on the back side. All right, and so with my piece of fabric, what I want to do is, and I'll come over here and do this, I want to fold this under just a little tiny ooch. That is a lot of glue. And what I'm going to do, let me do this. I'm going to touch this back over here to just redistribute some of this glue. And then fold this under just a little bit. I only allowed myself like a ½ inch extra for this part. Now I am going to have a rough edge on the edge of this, on this side. That will be all right. Okay. Can't get a hold of it. And I wanted to put some kind of wild, funky colors on here, but I thought, no, just settle down and just don't do that. If they want to funkify it, they can funkify it. All right, now we're going to let this dry, and then we'll come back and see how this turns out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hope that you'll come back to my channel. Be sure you give me a little thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.